Just before this episode, I want to tell you about another adventurous audio podcast series. Inside Forensic Science is back with an utterly intriguing historic murder mystery.
Westminster Gazette, August 31st. Sensational mystery in Scotland. Suspicious death of an English lieutenant.
A young man is dead.
And from my examination, I had no doubt that it was a gunshot wound.
So is it murder or a tragic accident?
The thing that worries me is that this poor guy was shot in the back of the head.
And why would anyone want him dead in the first place?
Didn't take too long to assess that there's absolutely something rotten in the state of Denmark.
Mishandled evidence, a chaotic crime scene, fraud, suspects who vanish into thin air.
We've got one witness who's actually washed the blood from the deceased.
This case has it all. Inside Forensic Science, the Ard Lamont Mystery, a podcast from the Leverhulme Research Centre for Forensic Science at the University of Dundee. Coming soon to wherever you get your podcasts.
Hi, it's Ali here, salon director from the Head Gardener in Inverness. Talking about cancer is never easy, but unless we're open and honest about it, how can we learn from each other and, most importantly, support each other? Personally, I love this podcast. Every so often there'll be a little nugget that will just smack you in the face and you just think, whoa, right, that resonates. I think Penny is an amazing storyteller. She's utterly honest and yes, sweary, but cancer makes you a bit sweary. I'm really proud to be the sponsor of Lump and I hope you get as much from it as I do. But don't forget to like it, rate it and share it. And over to Penny.
Cancerversary. It's a year. A whole 12 months. How can this be? I know dates and markers in the sand don't really mean anything. But we reach for them and wrap them in sparkly papered significance all the same. Presumably, because we have something we feel is significant enough to dress up. But I'm not sure quite how to dress this up, how to mark this Cancerversary. How do you commemorate an event singularly lacking in sepia-tinged charm? While I push this thought around, Facebook throws a memory at me. Not of my walk into the breast clinic on the 15th of January 2020, the needle punch into flesh, the pull of that small cylindrical slither of tumour. Instead, it's a picture of a woodland landscape, Daviot woods, heavy with winter. I'm sitting on a track, inches deep with snow, feet in front, knees bent, hands back behind me. I'm refusing to get up. It's all I can do not to throw myself down and have a complete hissy fit. The toddler in me is itchy with it. I've almost certainly just thrown my water bottle because I remember having to wade through even more gorse-covered snow to retrieve it, which only deepened the huff. David stands to one side, holding our bikes, relaxed. You can't see it from this angle, but he's laughing a lot. On this completely insane cycle club ride, I didn't take my inability to stay upright terribly well, and the more I fell, the more cross I got, the more David laughed. Was that really only 4 years ago? I tap the photo, then zoom in. Closer, then closer still. Close enough to imagine stepping lightly through the frame to drop down quietly beside my sitting form. The snow cushions my fall, and I do fall. My balance is a bit off these days. The temptation to ball up the snow and throw it at myself is irresistible, especially since I know it would tip my digital half into a meltdown. No wonder David finds the huff so funny. I do too. The scene is postcard perfect, a Narnia. The only blot is my scowl. I want to gently reach out and stroke it away, whisper in my own ear not to be so daft. I feel an inexplicable tenderness for that younger me, a nostalgia. I try to stay with that soft thought, but there's a whine building from stage left, a voice muttering that this is yet another bloody photo of how marvellous it all was before cancer, blah, blah, blah. Yes, even though it's a picture of me in a foul mood. I start to quantify just how much I'd give to be back there. How much I'd love for the biggest problem in my day to be whether I faceplant in another gorse bush before the end of a ride. Even that personal tenderness turns to annoyance. Why was I so stupid, so childish? Why not just enjoy the moment instead of sulking in the snow? Didn't I realise how lucky and healthy I was? Stop. Enough. I'm sick of hearing my inner voice bang on about fecking cancer. I'm starting to wonder if I've ploughed an unnecessarily negative furrow for myself. More and more my default seems to be that I look at photos from the past, before I had cancer, and instead of allowing myself to enjoy the memories they conjure up, I'm letting the positive thoughts get eaten up by the idea that life will never be as good again. All I focus on in every photo, and we have lots, they cover the walls of the kitchen, is a sense that I had no idea what was coming my way. As a consequence, each dip into the past is tinged with pain and regret, a curious mix of sentimental longing seasoned with resentment. I know this isn't healthy, and I start to wonder if there's a different way of being. When the term nostalgia was first coined, back in the late 17th century by a Swiss physician named Johannes Hofer, if you're a detail geek like me, it was used to describe a disease, an illness suffered by Swiss mercenaries fighting far from home. But 300 years later, when nostalgia was studied in the lab, far from being a mental disorder, researchers found it had a positive effect on us. Looking back at moments which meant something makes us feel good, because those moments were good. At the moment, it's almost as if I actively avoid nostalgia, refuse to let myself enjoy the past or get fuzzy and misty-eyed over fun times we've had. But maybe I'm missing a trick. You know how we do that thing when we see a photo of always looking at ourselves first? Me, me, me. I do that too. But what I see is totally blinkered because all I see in those images is a woman without cancer. Correction. A woman who doesn't know she has cancer. The cancer could have been there for ages. But while I give cancer, even in its absence, centre stage, it's obscuring the bigger picture. One of the reasons we get nostalgic is it reminds us that we have friends, family, love, laughter, special moments, good things that happen. Look past your own image, and you see the context. With this new idea in mind, I wander over to look at the wall above the stairs to Bee's room. I try to look at the pictures with a new mindset, focus on what the photos represent. There's a wonderful photo of David and his brothers. It was taken the night of a cancer charity event, just 2 weeks before my mastectomy. But instead of remembering why that night was so hard, I focus on their brilliant smiles, the remarkable closeness they share. In another photo, we're cycling up the Mall in the heart of London. 7 of us crossing the finishing line together at the end of 100 miles of support, laughter, friendship, companionship, determination. And there's Alison and me, grinning like idiots, because we've just completed the Mallorca 167 Sportive. And there, 4 of us are, finishing the beast race, and I'm laughing so hard and so covered in mud I can hardly stand up. Photo after photo of love, laughter, daftness, joy, and so much friendship and support. Cancer has stripped none of these things from my life, not one. In fact, it's brought even more of all of that to our lives. And with that, I realise it's safe to look back. It's okay to enjoy the past. And by allowing myself to do that, I've gone and reminded myself how fucking brilliant all our friends and family are. I need not fear the approach of this Cancerversary. Of course, I will always remember when I found out I had cancer. Why would I forget? But I don't need to do anything more than let myself acknowledge it and, if I do happen to allow myself to dip back into those indescribably painful weeks and months after my diagnosis, I need to make sure I don't just see my personal struggles, but also make room for the ongoing warmth, love, support, and friendship.
Lump is sponsored by Ali
all those
McCritchie and
moments
the
we went
fantastic team at the Head Gardener Hair Salon in Inverness. Without them, it simply wouldn't be possible, so a massive thanks to them for all their support. If you like Lump, make sure you tell the team when you're next in the salon and they'll give you a free gift. Coming up in the next episode.
This week, I've been snagged by the word normal. Kind of a dull, grey word at best. Normal doesn't sound like she'd stay out all night doing drugs and shagging random strangers. No, normal sounds more like she'd curl up with a nice cup of tea and a biscuit, probably a custard cream.
Lump is written and presented by me, Penny Stewart, and produced by Adventurous Audio.